welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle, aka Makeup Esquire, excuse me. And today we are getting ready for church. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you didn't already know, I do go live on Instagram and on YouTube every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I did miss you all this past Sunday. If y'all didn't already know, I was in trial all of last week. So Sunday I was just preparing for trial and I didn't get a chance to come up on here. So I have truly missed you all, especially because I haven't been able to keep up with content like I usually do. I wasn't as consistent this past week, so I do apologize for that. And so I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you all, and I figured that today for my look for church, I'd share with y'all some of just the tips that I personally have been using this past week when I have been getting ready to go to court, to get ready to be in trial all day. I have to speak a lot while I'm in trial. I'm in trial all day, every day when we're locked into a jury trial. So this is the type of makeup that I'm using when I'm performing, basically. It is hot. We're here in the middle of August in sunny Southern California. So all of that is taken into consideration. I don't have time, even during my lunch break, like usual, to touch up my makeup throughout the day like I would like to. So yeah, I figure that I can share with y'all my makeup look that I have been consistently wearing for the past week that I have been in trial. And now that it's over, I can relax and hang out with y'all. So thank you everyone so much for being here and for joining me. This is truly the highlight of my week. I know I say that every week, but I truly mean it. I appreciate each and every one of you for giving me your time and for being here with me. So let's check the chat, see who's here. Hey Jesus, hey Yasmin, Susan, Kat, Gabby, Desi. Thanks everyone for being here. Hey y'all, hey Gabby, hey Sonia. All right, should we get into it? Let's get into it. So for foundation, this past week, this entire week that I've been in trial. Hey Stacy, I have been reaching for the Chantecaille, none other than the Future Skin Cushion Foundation. Why have I chosen this particular foundation? Because again, I need something not only long lasting, but I am up close and personal to the jury. I'm up close and personal to the prosecutor, to the judge at sidebar, to my client. And I just don't want anything that's like cakey and settling into my fine lines. I want something that's going to really wear well throughout the day. I don't want it to look like I've tried too hard, that I show up in court like as if it were a beauty pageant. And I also want something that's really quick to just slap on in the mornings, because my focus is to get to court on time. So this is my favorite brush that I've been using with the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation this past week. This is the Bisciotto 517, and most of these brushes that I'll be using today, you can purchase at the Food A Bubble website. It's at the link in my bio on Instagram, and I also have the link pinned on YouTube. So if you're watching on Instagram or on YouTube, I got you either way. Thank you so much for joining me on either or both. Very happy to have y'all. So hey Locke, I love this Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation. I've raved about it before because it is a lightweight foundation, but cushion foundations are notorious for their lasting power. It's such a thin formula, which is why they put it in a cushion component, because it's just too thin to put in like a bottle. And that's why you really have to kind of get a flat brush. And this is why this synthetic brush works so well with this cushion foundation. It's nice and flat, so it's able to get an even distribution of the product on the bristles. So any flat top synthetic brush is something that I would recommend to really get into this cushion. And then another bonus about this Future Skin Cushion Foundation from Chantecaille is that you do get a refill. So I'm kind of probably starting to reach the bottom of mine, and I'll be refilling it pretty soon. But I'm hoping that the camera is picking up just how flawlessly this is going on. When I'm in a rush, a cushion foundation is particularly helpful because it's not really liquidy, right? And so everything kind of just moves faster when you don't use products that are super liquidy that need to be set, especially if, like me, you have combo to oily skin. So I am personally wearing the shade Wheat. It's a pretty good color for me right now. It might lean a little bit warm because I don't have a self tan on right now, but that's okay. We'll balance it all out with concealer. But this cushion foundation is just, it surprises me every time with how well it wears throughout the day. It's such a great formula. And it's, like I said, so thin and lightweight that it doesn't even feel like I have anything on my skin right now. So that's another thing that I really enjoy about this cushion foundation, especially if you live in a hot or humid climate. This cushion foundation is really great because you don't even have to set it with powder. And so I know that a lot of times when you're in the humidity, it's tricky to use powders because you don't want it to get kind of like gummy and gunky when you're setting a liquid foundation with a powder on top, a setting powder. So very natural. It covers when it needs to cover. I don't mind that some of my imperfections and some of my freckles are coming out. And yeah, I've just truly been loving this cushion foundation by Chantecaille. I will be linking all of the products that I'm using today after I get back from church, but you can pretty much find everything I'm using on my Shop My. It's also linked in my bio as well, and we'll link it in the description box of this video. If you care to shop for any of these products, I may earn a small commission. It really helps support my channel if you ever shop through my links, and I'm so grateful and appreciative for all those that have already and for continuing to support small channels like mine. So I have, for concealer, been rotating between the Sarah Creel concealer and the Westman Atelier concealer. The Westman Atelier concealer is slightly more dry. Another one that I've been really enjoying is this Estee Lauder Double Wear concealer. It has a matte finish. It's the Stay in Place concealer. Oops, when I'm not throwing it around. I have the shade 3.5C, and it's a pretty solid shade for me. Hey, son. So it is, as you can see, slightly lighter than my complexion. So I like to go in with a shade of concealer that is slightly lighter than my complexion, and then sometimes if I feel the need to add any additional product, I'll, in any areas of my face where I have imperfections that I want to touch up, I'll use a concealer that's closer in tone to my actual skin tone. This is the Sarah Creel shade 5, which is a pretty solid match, as you can see. So I use this kind of like around my mouth area, and later on I'll touch up with a color corrector if I feel the need. But this Westman Atelier M1 shade has a slightly yellow undertone and has pretty solid coverage as well, so I can get away with using it underneath the eye without using a color corrector pretty much most of the time. So this is kind of how I've been doing my concealer. And I've been liking this method of using a very lightweight type of foundation as a base all around, and then using a concealer to just hide any imperfections. And this process, I guess, this method of doing makeup, if you don't have the Chantecaille cushion foundation, also works really well if you just have any type of like a lightweight skin tint. I've really been enjoying the Hermes skin tint. Sicily, I've used that skin tint pretty recently on my channel too. So I just tend to reach for my more lightweight foundations in these hot summer months because, again, I just find that they wear better throughout the day. If I find myself wearing sunglasses in the middle of the day, if I drive home to walk my dogs over my lunch break, I'm not so, it's easier to fix these sunglass indents when it's really hot and when we get sweaty from our lunchtime walks. even though I don't know, I might be the only one that does that, but that's kind of like my usual routine. Although this past week I have not, like, I just work through my lunch break. I don't even eat when I'm in trial during the day. I just prepare for court, really, any second that I get during the day. Welcome everyone that's joining on YouTube and on Instagram. Okay, so we have a pretty solid base, and on a daily basis when I am in trial, and that's my pretty much entire focus, I'm not really messing with eyeshadow. If I do throw on an eyeshadow, it's like a one and done shade and I'm good to go. But I've gotten so many compliments on the bright pink magenta lippy that I wore on the last day of trial when the verdict came in. So this is Dior 784. Maybe it gave me a little bit of good luck. So I kind of wanted to showcase this baby because it's my favorite magenta shade in my collection. I thought it would go well with this navy blue look. It goes well whenever I wear either ivory or white or navy blue or even all black. So it goes with so many looks. And if you hesitate to wear a solid red, this is a good option because it's slightly off from being fully red. One day during trial, I did go all out with a very bold lippy during my closing argument. I wanted to really kind of embody a bold lip look. So I did, for that day, use the Westman Atelier lipstick. So I have two red leaning shades, and one is the shade Dash and one is this shade Le Rouge. Le Rouge is cooler than Dash, and I just focused the shade Le Rouge kind of in the middle, in the center of the lips, and then Dash is a more solid true to tone red. And so I was very pleasantly surprised with the wear time of these. All three of these lipsticks, they were so reliable. I talked a lot all day, and even though I took them with me to touch up, I really didn't have to touch up at all. And I made sure to throw them in this cute little handmade Japanese, it's supposed to be for brushes, but I would throw in whatever lippy I was using in my work bag, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to come home over my lunch break to touch up. But yeah, we'll get into that. I kind of wanted to show y'all how I was just taking these as a backup. So yeah, and knowing that I wasn't really going to be indulging in eating throughout the day, I figured it was a good day to wear a bold lip. On the days that I didn't wear a bold lip, I would choose to wear, if I were to wear like a more nude lip, like earlier in the week, I would pick any one of these more neutral lippies. These are my favorite long-lasting lippies. I like these because I could just throw them on in the morning one time and then not have to touch them up at all throughout the rest of the day. If anything, I could just put like the clear gloss on top, and I know that these will never do me dirty. They're not going to get on my teeth or anything like that. And as I continue to set my makeup, I will share a funny story actually that happened to me the other day, when I was having a conversation with my client who was kind enough to not tell me that I had red lipstick on my teeth because I had put my retainers in. And that's the mistake I made, is to put my retainers in without having to put it. It's kind of like, they're kind of like Invisalign type of retainers, because I did have braces earlier this year. So my dad, who's my orthodontist, told me that I need to continue wearing my retainers even throughout the day for at least 5 years after wearing my braces, so that my teeth won't move. And every time I do with the red lip, it backfires on me. So so I definitely just didn't risk that while I wore a bold lip this week while I was in trial. I skipped the retainers altogether. So I am going in with this white Canadian squirrel brush, again from Fude Bobo. She's a beautiful one. It was a very limited release. but I'm going in with my Laura Mercier translucent loose powder. She's a reliable one, and this is the loose powder that I have been wearing all week. So y'all know I love my Huda Beauty loose setting powders, and I just have these other loose setting powders in my collection kind of laying around that I've had since before I like truly fell in love with the Huda Beauty ones. So, or maybe I just got them like on a really good deal or something like that that I couldn't pass up on. So I'm just kind of trying to finish them and go through them, and then I think that I'll just continue to repurchase my good old tried and true Huda Beauty setting powder. Yeah. How y'all doing today? How's everyone's Sunday? I hope everyone's having a lovely weekend so far. Oh, Shannon says she misses her Tom Ford Cushion Foundation. I never got the chance to try that one. I understand that they have discontinued that one. Stacy says she has dry skin, but she hopes that the Cushion Foundation would still be good on her. Feel free to chime in if you have dry skin and have ever used the Cushion Foundation, and let us know your thoughts on how you feel about it. A good person to watch with dry skin that reviews a lot of Chantecaille base products is Michelle Wong. So I did have dry skin for a period of time while I was on Accutane for a few years, but I don't specifically remember wearing this Cushion Foundation throughout that time period. So I can't really say, but I'm tempted to say that because it's called a skincare foundation, and Chantecaille is really great about including skincare in their foundations in general, I want to say that you probably won't be disappointed even if you do have drier skin, but please do report back if you are able to try it. So for bronzer, I think I've been using like my Makeup by Mario bronzer throughout the week, but today I'm just kind of tempted to grab the Hermes one. I wanted to show y'all that I did do some brushed laundry. So I have some of these Fude brushes sitting here, and some of them are slightly damp. A lot of them are from recent hauls that I've done. I know some of y'all were asking me to test out some of my recent brushes that I hauled from Hakuhodo prior to the price increase. This one has been my tried and true bronzing brush that I've been using the heck out of. So if we're just kind of sticking to what I've been using all week, I'm kind of just tempted to pull that one out. But yeah, so if you see me kind of reaching over into these, I really wanted to kind of stay true to the actual products that I have been reaching for that have just been making my life easy. So I also wanted to showcase, excuse my neighbor's dog. Shh. And then my dog responding to that dog. So I also wanted to showcase how now I have a full family of Koyudo Gokujo brushes. So if y'all are new to my channel, I am such a nerd when it comes to collecting handmade Japanese makeup brushes, and these are considered to be the softest goat hair brushes in the world, made by the most skilled Japanese artisans. They are hand-picked out of the highest grade of goat hair out there, and I'm so lucky to have been able to collect one in every size that Fude Bobo has made available to us. I'm not sure if any of these are still available on her website, but these are very limited in release, especially because of how beautiful these handles are. So I have a combination of the green, the gold, and the blue, and this just, I think it's called the Wajima Locker way of decorating these handles is just so beautiful and so lovely. So I figure maybe we can test some of these out today. In particular, I think the 2 or 3 smallest one, I think the 2 smallest ones are the newest ones to my collection. So I kind of wanted to showcase these for y'all. I do think I've already filmed content with the larger ones. So hopefully that dog will stop barking soon. Please bear with me. All right, so let's use this Hermes bronzer. This brush should still be available on the Food A Bubble website. I always feel badly using brushes that are just so limited in their release that you can't get anymore. So I don't know, y'all can tell me what you kind of want to see. Yes, I did, Yasmin. I know you got them too. I'm excited to see your content on them. I know, Bella, shh. I've asked y'all before if you think it's rude to yell at your neighbor's dog when you know their name. I got mixed answers on that, but most of y'all said you think it's rude for me to yell at my neighbor's dog. It's just because my window is open right here. And so she's probably reacting to hearing my voice, even though by now she should be used to it. Don't feel bad, we live vicariously through you. Okay, thank you. And I know that a few of y'all were able to pick up some of these releases as well. Yeah, I'm so glad to have gotten around to some brush cleaning this weekend because it was definitely overdue. Yes, this lipstick from Dior is a magenta pink. It's not a true red. I know that sometimes it might come off on camera as a true red, but here, let me hold it up in front of a true red so y'all can really see the difference. It makes it real. I like it. Okay, thank you for not minding the dog. I hope that the camera can kind of pick up the difference. Do you see how the Westman Atelier lipstick in the shade Dash looks more red? And then the other red that I've been enjoying is the Westman Atelier lipstick in Le Rouge, which has more, it's a more cool tone, like, or I would say like, yeah, it has maybe a little bit more orange. I don't know. It is, or maybe more blue. So you can kind of see the difference between the tones when they're all lined up like that together. Right? So, yeah. I don't know. I was thinking of doing the Dior Magenta, but if y'all want to see me use the Westman Atelier ones instead, feel free to let me know. Power Pink, yes. Le Rouge is more orange red on me. Okay, yeah, more orange red, right? My complexion looks amazing. Thank you so much, Susan. That's the best compliment. Those Chanel lippies are so long wearing, aren't they? Yes. So whenever I need something that like I know I can rely on and it will not do me dirty, like this is like paint on your lips. It will not budge. It won't give you that dreaded ring of death even after talking for a full day. The Laura Mercier is the gold standard. I'm happy to hear that, Shannon, you also like this Laura Mercier concealer. Yeah, this one has, it's a newer release on the market and it's been really great. I'm really trying to hold back on purchasing another shade for myself because I have so many concealers. Like I already have 3 in the Sarah Creole formula that I just need to get through. I have a couple of shades in the Westman Atelier ones that I've picked up relatively recently. And then so many older concealers in my collection that I know won't last forever. So it's easy for me to pick up multiple shades in something that when I really enjoy the formula. So I'm trying to hold back. Okay, Sarah, thank you for the question. I wanted to ask how you like the Koyudo Kalinsky eye brushes, the ones that came in a set of 3, and do you prefer the brush you showed for bronzer, the dyed one, or the Bisciotto one that looks like the Niji Pro? Okay, so that's a good question. So the Bisciotto one that looks like the Niji Pro is a mix of fox hair and goat hair, I believe. That one, that's a really tough choice. I think I probably, that's tough. I would say this one is just like a better purchase because it is more affordable So if you're not like really into collecting, and you just want something that is more practical, I would recommend this one because the price point is probably a little bit better too. That other one by Bisciotto that looks like the Niji Pro, which I don't have right in front of me, but I have showcased it before on my channel, specifically on a video that I titled Mob Wife Makeup Look. So if anybody wants to go back and watch that video, I used that brush for bronzer in that video. And that one is, I would say, a little bit more dense, but yeah, it has more of like the Niji Pro fan shape, kind of the Sonia G Niji Pro fan shape to it. So because that one is a tiny bit more dense, I find this one to be a little bit more practical because you can use this brush that's slightly more airy for like higher pigmented powder products. So like if I wanted to go in and use like a very bright red blush, for instance, I would feel more comfortable using this one over that more dense one. That other one is more of like a collector's item, I would say, because you have the beautiful African wood handle. I'm a sucker for that 24 karat golden ferrule. I love how unique that mix of hair is. So if I had to pick between one or the other, just because of like the beauty of it and how lovely it is to just experience using that Bisciotto one, I might pick that one. But I will say, especially if like you're not really into all the little details that a collector would be and you want something more affordable and practical, I can't rave enough about this one. This one is so practical because it's fully goat hair. Like you can use it for I think this one, because it's a little bit wispier as well, and because of the 5 different sides of the brush being useful, the way it's tapered on all sides, and then the flat top lends itself to both cream and liquid foundations as well, like all over. And so just like that flat surface area that it gives you, along with like the airiness, like the airy nature of the bundling, I just think lends itself to more tasks. You can literally use this shape for so many tasks. You can use it for creams, liquids, powders. I could use this brush for, like I said, liquid foundation, cream foundation, or I can use this for powders. Like I just used it for my bronzer. I can use it for blush. I can use this for highlight. I can use this for contour. So this one's like a really great one to travel with. It's not as heavy as that other Bisciotto one because you don't have that African rosewood handle, which I'm a sucker for exposed wood, which is why I think that other one's so beautiful. And just like the different tones of the hairs on that other one are really pretty too. Although I really love this persimmon dyed style as well. So the Bisciotto, so Yasmin on here, my good friend Yasmin, if you're not following her account, yambi.ig, you need to be following her account because she has a lot of great input, and she's a really, she is an avid collector of Fude as well. And I value her opinion a lot on these brushes. And she opines that the Bisciotto one provides a more diffused finish, which I do prefer too. Yes. Yeah, because you have, right, like that more like fanned out surface level. So it just feels a little bit bougier. It feels a little bit heavier and more luxe in the hand, that Bisciotto brush. But this one definitely, like, you can't beat the practicality on this one. Oh, hey, Brittany. Thanks for joining. That's a great question, though. Thank you so much. And if you're asking me about the Kolinsky Eye Brush Trio, I have showcased that. If you're talking about the little thin gold handle, are they behind me? The ones that are, I want to make sure that I'm answering your question right, but are you talking about this trio, this Kolinsky trio? So I actually saw that Yasmin mentioned these, and she just recently went live and showcased a lot of her opinions on like a lot of these Kolinsky brushes. And I tend to disagree with her opinion on this one particular brush. So she did mention that it doesn't really do anything in her opinion. Like you can definitely get, You can, okay. You can get definitely a more practical and detailed brush at a much better price point that can pretty much do everything that this one can do. I completely do agree with that sentiment. With this brush, you're paying for like the handle, the way that this ferrule is flushed like this, that always adds a little bit more of like a, just like, you know, a higher end feel to it. The way that the end of the brush is like this just kind of gives it like a more luxe vibe, kind of like this Kolinsky brush here by Fude Bobo. Like these flat kind of brush ends tend to be like the more bespoke ones. So if you're looking for a detailed brush to just like for practicality purposes, I would recommend this Mizuho brush is really great. I do think that you can get it on the Fude Bobo website. It's like a combination, I think, of synthetic and weasel, or this Hakuhodo J163HSH, which is a horsehair brush, and it's a detailed brush. And with these babies, I find it, I completely agree with Yasmin that you can pretty much do everything that like you can with this one. But I even am tempted to show y'all why I like this particular one, even more so than like this middle one. Even like this middle one is like, okay, you know, you can get like I rave about this Curator one all the time too. So you could probably do a similar thing with this Curator one. This one also comes in a little bit bigger of a size as well for way less than you can purchase this one. So I agree that some of these are just a little bit too much for like the practical use out of them. And by the way, you can get this Curator one on the Fude Beauty website, which I also have an affiliate link to in my bio, and I'll add it in the description of the YouTube video as well. But those are really great affordable ones. But with this particular little tiny one, I used it in a YouTube video that for some reason, oh, the YouTube video that I use this one in is titled, I think it's titled, "You're Not Bad at Makeup, You Just Need These." And my whole point was like how big of a difference your tools make. And so I showcased some of my favorite Takeda brushes. And because we're on this topic right now, let me just grab like a random, take like a dark brown eyeshadow, okay? And this little brush surprised me when I showcased it in that video. I showcased it with the, which one? This Anastasia Beverly Hills Cosmos Cosmos eyeshadow palette is the palette that I used. And actually this would be like, I like this idea better than the dark brown. So what I did in that YouTube video was I took this shade Galaxy right here, which is this really lovely, beautiful, this is kind of an underrated eyeshadow palette in my opinion. You see how beautiful that shade Galaxy is? And I think it'll go well with what I'm wearing. So I had to barely dip into it with this Kolinsky detail brush here. And look at what I did. And I was like really impressed with the way that this detail brush laid down this eyeshadow. Hopefully I'm close enough for y'all to see on camera. But look at this. Y'all see that? I literally had to like barely touch my skin. And there's something about the way that the bundling is and how sharp the Kolinsky comes to a point. And you have a wing. So if you struggle with your wing eyeliner, just like tools matter. But like I said, a much more affordable option. I love this Mizuho one. So let's try the same exact technique with this Mizuho one that you can purchase on the Fude Bobo website, okay? I'll do it on the other side. Yes, okay, Sarah. I'm glad that I'm giving you what you're asking. The Kyoto flat paddle, I'm able to get that. Ooh, yes, the Kyoto flat paddle this one's really special. I'll use this one for blush today. You got the mango shape one. I love that mango shape one. I know Yasmin didn't really care for that mango shape, but I really love that mango shape one. I like it for, like, I like how you can just kind of like sweep on like powder contour with that one. But I will agree with Yasmin that it's kind of like, you're a little bit limited in what it can do. You could use it as like a small foundation brush or like a large concealer brush, but it's kind of like a little bit too small for foundation and a little bit too large for concealer. You could use it for like cream or liquid blush, that mango one. I like to use that one like with my Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate like cream contour or my Natasha Denona powder contour powder. So I do find that mango shape unique, but I agree that like that Mizuho one that's similar in shape to it is not one that I typically reach for, but it's also probably because the bristles on that Mizuho one like aren't that soft. I wouldn't be so quick to say like I love the mango shape. It's my absolute favorite shape. The one that I find so useful that I would highly recommend over the mango shape is this one. The Mini Owl Brush by Fude Bobo is probably like the most dynamic and all around useful shape that I can probably think of in my collection. I know that that's a big statement, but like this baby right here, I think everybody needs in their collection. Like you can use this one for cream and liquid foundation. You can use it for powders to set powder in your T-zone. You can use it for blush. You can use it for contour because of that lovely 3D shape that kind of hugs your cheek like this. Powder bronzer. You could even flip it over and use this side, the longer bristles, for highlighter in a pinch. Like I said, powder contour in a pinch. Like you can do a whole face with just this one alone. So I love this Mini Owl Brush. I like it better than the Mama Owl, personally. But just because I'm promising y'all that I'm going to do the same wing liner with this Mizuho one. And I'm forgetting what, it has like an odd number that is not on the brush. But I can get you the name of this exact Mizuho one after the live. I could put it in the description of this video. Let me know if anybody knows the name of it. But I like how this one has kind of like a slant to it as well. But this one I even got for my mom because she is interested in doing like wings, but she struggles with it. But with this one, I just think it's like you just kind of have to have like a little bit more of a steady hand and more control. But it is also excellent for that same exact purpose. You see how easy that was for me to do that wing with that one? And so, yes, it will be a little bit more precise, but no big deal because we have my absolute favorite Tansedo brush, the Kolinsky KQ12S, which I've raved about so much on my channel. But my favorite thing to do is just take the Kolinsky KQ12S, which you can also get on the Fude Bobo website. And it's another one that I think everybody needs in their collection because this bundling on this baby is so unique for Kolinsky to be bundled in this razor. Look at how sharp the edge is on this baby. Like this is the hands down the sharpest bundled Kolinsky. I have like 3 or 4 of these because I can never be without this brush. And so it's perfect for so many things. I've gone on and on about how many ways you can use this KQ12S, but like just for cleaning up a powder wing like this, boom, so quick, so easy. And that's that. But I would not be recommending this particular brush to like anybody that doesn't collect over something that's a lot more practical like this Mizuho one for far less. You're paying for the aesthetics. But I do think it's useful for certain details. If that's what you tend to do with your makeup looks, if you tend to do detail work, then it's nice to have something like this in your collection. But if you don't really get into detail work, like I can think of so many uses to use this for. I can like put a little bit of powder contour on my lips. I can do pinpoint highlighter down my nose, on my brow bone. I can use it for what I just used it right now for that powder wing. This one is full of like dark powder, so I'm not going to dare do it, but let's like pretend that this was clean. Okay, so I'm just going to go in with like the slightly larger one. And what I mean by like a little, if you put like a little tiny bit of powder contour that is not super dark, like 1 to 2 shades darker than your actual skin tone, and you just kind of like frame the top portion of your lip with it just a little bit, it not only helps prevent feathering out from whatever lip you're using, because any type of like powder product on the border of your lips will help like your lip liner or like, you know, your lipstick or your lip gloss stay put. So you can use that for this purpose right here. And again, with your Kolinsky Tensado KQ12S, if you get a little bit, you know, go a little overboard, you can always clean it up super easily. And it might look a little bit exaggerated right now because I haven't added like my lip liner that I'm going to add. But these little detail brushes I find always really useful, like detail, powder contour. You could even get away with putting some powder into your eyebrow with this one. If you want to do like an intricate cut crease, or just add like a little bit of like glitter, like for instance this like Fenty Diamond Bomb. You want to add like a little bit of glitter, like just on your, this is a technique that Andrea Ali loves, one of my favorite makeup artists. She loves taking this Diamond Bomb powder and just, or any type of like a sparkly Urban Decay like Space Cowboy type of, just like doesn't really have much of a base, but it's just sparkles. You want to take a little bit of that and put it just kind of on the center of your eyelid to make it look wet. So like I can definitely think of so many ways to use this baby for, but you just kind of have to be creative, and it just depends on your particular style of makeup. Like if you're not doing any of this stuff, if you're not being courageous about like maybe like a double wing, like a la Hindash, you know how Hindash does like a double wing and it just looks so awesome. Like it, you know, if you're not doing like an inner corner wing like this, this brush is perfect for this. So I do find this particular shape in my collection very handy and very useful. The Kolinsky hair is incredibly soft for that purpose, but it's hard for me to recommend it unless you are kind of nerdy and into collecting brushes like me, because I completely agree that you can get a lot more of an affordable detail brush and kind of get away with doing all the same things. So that's my particular take on that one. Thank you so much for the questions. See, this is why your questions are dangerous, y'all, because I can like go off when it comes to different ways to showcase Fude. And this is why I love Fude so much in general, is because of all the different ways and uses that you can use these brushes. You just have to kind of be open-minded about it. Okay, so now we have our bronzer on, and then let's keep going. So I always just take like a fluffy eyeshadow brush. I've really been enjoying this new release from Fude Bobo. This is the Bobo Chikuhodo S03 brush. It has that similar slant to it like the Baby Owl brush. Look at it, it's just like a cute little mini version. How adorable, right? So in an eye brush, and this is a combination of goat and squirrel hair, so you have the best combination of practicality and softness in one. I love how it resembles a finger shape, so especially if you have longer nails like me and you tend to struggle with like dipping your hands into eyeshadows, I love how this one just like is, if I were to do like when I was doing like ever like a one and done, which I've been loving using my Chantecaille luminescent eye shades that I just picked up from the sale, I've been using this one to do that. It sounds like we actually do agree on that brush. You're just way more articulate about it. Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that you have a lot of the same thoughts and feelings as me, Yasmin. Yeah, Yasmin and I do tend to agree on a lot, more than we disagree on, I find. for sure. Sarah says, you put me on the KQ12 and that's my power tool. Yes, I love that. Thank you for the feedback on this. I swear by this little brush, it just does so many things. Like, right? It's just something that you, like, I cannot not have this handy, like right in front of me. It's just, it's so useful. So I'm just taking the same bronzer. So any bronzer that I was using all over my face, I'm just taking the same exact one. And the only reason I'm reaching for this Hermes one over the one that I was using throughout the week, which was the Makeup by Mario one, was because in the Makeup by Mario one, I have the shade medium tan. And I had, my self tan has completely faded off since then. And so that one is just a little bit too dark. So this is the shade 3 Sahara. And I think that it is the perfect shade when I'm not self-tanned. So that's why I reached for this one in particular today, which I really do love and recommend this Hermes powder bronzer. As pricey as it is, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And like, you won't even make a dent on it. Like, I really do think it's worth your coin. It has such a beautiful, lovely finish. Oh, okay. Yeah, really any glitter. Any glitter you want for the for what I was showcasing, as far as like just tapping a little bit on the center of the eyelid for kind of like a little bit of like a bling or a wet effect if you don't want to go all out like me. If you're a professional like I am and I go to court every day, sometimes I feel like glitter all over my lid is just too much. But a way around that is just by putting a little bit on the center of the eyelid. And it just looks super pretty and classy, and it just kind of catches that light just right. You love Byredo makeup line. I love Byredo too. Is anyone thinking about picking up that new Byredo eyeshadow palette release? I'm tempted just because I love the formulas on the Byredo shadows so much. My Mineralscapes palette is probably like my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette because of that. Because of how like just I was blown away by the quality of those eyeshadow palettes. However, I have heard that one of y'all said on here that I have a little bit of a transfer on that eyeshadow. One of y'all said that one of your Byredo eyeshadows popped out. So that's unfortunate to hear. That hasn't happened with mine yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully it won't happen, but that is really disappointing, I will say. So I'm kind of going back and forth on the Byredo newest release because I don't know if I'll use those tones. Like the shades are definitely more like red leaning, and there are some complaints that, you know, there's a lot of repeat shades, that it definitely could have just been a smaller palette without some of those repeat shades. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. I also try to refrain from, I was also asked about whether I was gonna be picking up any of those Chanel quad releases. I really I'm trying, I should say, to refrain from picking up limited edition releases unless I really, really, really want them and I like can't pass up on them. Just because I just feel badly about, like, after you're not able to get them, I don't like showcasing them on my channel and giving people FOMO. So when I can just showcase so many other things that you all can get, you know? So anyway, okay, let's keep going. So because we're going to do like a brighter lippy, and whether I'm going to do like that magenta one, or when I did the red lip this past week, I would reach for these red leaning blushes. So the shade 40 from Armani and the Luminous Silk Glow blush, and Dior shade Cherry. This one's in the older formula, but I'm sure the new formula's shade is the same. I have not really been reaching for my Victoria Beckham cream stick this past week in particular, in the shade Fever, just because like with creams, you know, it's a little bit more finicky and it takes me a little bit longer to like make sure my application is just right. But I did want to showcase it with this particular Kolinsky brush because I've been loving this one. This Victoria Beckham Shade Fever cream blush, and if you especially tend to prefer cream blushes over powder blushes, or if you like to combine them to get the best lasting power, I recommend combining a cream and then layering it on top with a powder blush. And this Shade Fever, for especially like the spring and summer, is just to die for. I mean, look at this shade, y'all. I want to swatch it for you. Just look at how unique that is. Like, have you ever seen such a beautiful bright red blush? And like, it looks intimidating, but like, if you just are careful in applying it, this works across all skin tones pretty much that I can think of. So with just like a light hand like this is beautiful tomato red. Hezzy's, you love Dior? Me too. It's one of my favorite makeup brands. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is. It really is beautiful. So just because I have to be so like delicate with this one, this is the reason why I wasn't like really reaching for this past week when I was in a big rush. But if I do have a little bit more time to do my makeup and I really want it to stay put and last all day, I will reach for something like a cream and then layer it with powder. But like I said, I kind of wanted to be a little bit more understated for trial. And so I was pretty much only reaching for like these more red toned powder blushes. So I'll just kind of like diffuse the edges just to make sure. And then I'll take like this little mini owl brush that I have here. It's clean, no product on it. And this is a Fox hairbrush. These natural hair bristles are so soft and they just diffuse the powder beautifully. Looks great. How's the longevity of the stick blush? It's actually has a really great longevity. Yasmin, thank you for asking. That's a good question. Yes, it has a really good longevity. And I like that it's not like dewy, like just without even setting it, look, like my hair is not like sticking to it. You see, like it's a cream blush, but like you don't necessarily have to set it. So I don't have like the new Dior cream blushes that they just released, but I have heard some people complaining about how those were maybe like a little bit too dewy. So it does just kind of depend on your skin type too, like whether you prefer something more dewy. But I just think that the Victoria Beckham cream, these stick blushes are really great across all different types of skin and across seasons because of that fact. Like they're just not too dewy, but they just impart such beautiful color. So I do have the other shade. This is just like a very this is Major. It kind of reminds me of like the Westman Atelier, what is it, like shade Petal, just this like neutral pink. Not that I want to get into like this whole swatch fest, but it's very similar to Petal. I don't think you need both necessarily if you already have the Westman Atelier Petal. But this is another one of my favorite formulas when it comes to cream blushes. So I will say that if you're a fan of these Westman Atelier cream blushes, the Victoria Beckham ones are very, very similar. The pink is perfect, right? It is. It's just like either one of these are just like your perfect neutral, like pink that really goes with everything. Let's catch up on the comments. Sorry, y'all. If I miss any questions, like please feel free to repeat yourself. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. She says, thank you for the details. I love your passion for brushes and techniques. Yes, the Diamond Balm has a little bit like of a gel base. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know where I put it. The flat brush. Oh yeah, the Kolinsky one, the Kolinsky flat brush. If you're talking about that one, it's a really beautiful one. I don't think you can get her anymore because it was kind of like a limited release, but definitely a collector's item, more so than I would say is something that you need to like run out and get. You have the Dior Cherry and you love the formula, but the YSL Chili. I have my eye on the new YSL Chili blush. Who's getting that one? I was curious to know if at first I was like, okay, I probably don't need another red blush because like I have a ton of red blushes. Another really pretty red blush that I have is that in a formula that I love is the Gucci. Let me pull out my Gucci one. Soft red, Gucci soft red. So this one definitely has a little bit more orange to it, but it's kind of like a tomato red. It's softer. They call this like a luminous matte formula, and I can see why. But I love me like a red leaning blush. And I've been eyeing that new YSL release. At first I was trying to like hold back and tell myself that I didn't need it. But you know, the packaging is also really tempting because look at how beautiful these YSL blush packaging is, just to die for, isn't it? It's probably like my favorite packaging in a blush of all time. And I know that that's a big statement. But I also really love this Gucci packaging. I recently picked up and a more affordable like red leaning blush, y'all. But these babies are bright, so like you really have to be careful when you dip into these. But Rare Beauty has some really great bright red options as well if you want something that's a little bit more affordable, but like the lasting power on these babies is so good. This shade Alive is definitely more bright orange leaning, but they do have a more true to red tone. It was just like too much for me. I picked it up and I had to return it because it was just like I had to be so careful that it was almost not even worth it because that's how like bright this baby was and the more true to like red. So I ended up keeping this one instead, and then the pink shade in the shade Happy. But I love this formula. The packaging is like whatever, but that's probably how she's able to like keep her prices like not as up there. So those are my recommendations for something. If you're like eyeing the Victoria Beckham one, but you want something like a little bit more affordable, check these Rare Beauty ones out. It's like I think it's a Korean, yeah, made in Korea. It's a very innovative formula. So very pleasantly surprised by this recent release from Rare Beauty. Probably like I'm not that big of a fan of Rare Beauty, like in general. I don't have too much of their stuff, but I was very impressed by that release lately, that she just released lately. I like Rare Beauty's eyeshadow primer too. It's solid. Oh, skipping the YSL Chili and getting the YSL face palette instead. I did see a teaser of that YSL face palette, and I'm curious to know y'all's thoughts on that. It's tempting. Talking about blushes, Tom Ford has a new one. I haven't seen the new one by Tom Ford. It's pricey. Interesting. You missed out on the Gucci one. I love the... Okay, so y'all can probably still pick up... Gucci came out with this limited edition packaging in only 2 shades. And remember I said that I try to refrain from limited edition stuff unless I really want it. I really wanted this baby. I don't care if it's limited. They have the same shades in the regular packaging, but this packaging is to die for. So I actually take it back. So I think this is the most beautiful blush of all time. This limited edition packaging by Gucci. I mean, can you even? This is the type of thing that you want to pass down to your great, great, great grandchildren. I mean, right? Like, isn't this so beautiful? Have y'all ever seen those makeup accounts that share like vintage makeup components and how elegant they used to be way back when? This is something that I can see being used like in the future on social media, like showcase. Oh, remember back in 2025, this Gucci release type of thing. It's just so elegant. So I definitely got this for the looks. I got it in the shade Silky Rose because I already had the other. I think it came out in just Silky Rose and Bright Coral, and I already have Bright Coral. So if you can still grab that one. And then second, I just really enjoy this YSL packaging. So if y'all can still grab this if you're interested, it's on Sephora. I'll link it also in this video. I'm going to church. Thank you for asking, Jesus. So I get up on here on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Sunday as I get ready with y'all to go to church, which is just down the street. I only go for an hour, but it starts at 5 in less than an hour. So I should be keeping this moving. So yeah, so I've been using either one of these two powder blushes. I kind of am liking the way that this blush is looking already. I don't really feel the need to like powder it more just because I'm not going to be wearing this makeup look all day. So I think I'm just going to leave it as is. The powder highlighter that I've been rocking with this more like reddish tone on the cheeks and lips is the Gucci powder highlighter. This is such a great formula. I love how it's kind of like a cream to powder in one. I have it in 2 shades, the Opal Pink in the shade 4 Opal Pink, and then this is the shade 3 Warm Gold. So I love taking like a detailed Kolinsky brush like this Hakuhodo 241. I'll just do a cute little brow bone highlight with it. I'll just do like a center of the nose highlight, and then I'll take like a, you could even take like that same Kolinsky brush, but really like any, or the same brush that I used to powder my T-zone. Any kind of like flat detail brush. And I'll just touch up a little bit of, use this Gucci highlighter to touch the top of my cheekbones. Just to kind of give a youthful appearance, because like when I really want my face to stay put all day, I'll like really mattify it with powder, and then to bring kind of like some life back, I always like to just go in with a little bit of a powder. And this one is just like the perfect in between a cream and a powder. That's why I love this formula so much. I've been eyeing the new Prada highlighters as well. I'm tempted to pick one of those up, even though like a new highlighter is like the last thing I need in my collection. But I keep hearing great things about it. So let's throw on a lippy, shall we? So I've been lining with the Chantecaille lip definer in the shade Desire. And a lot of times I was going in with my Sarah Creole lip primer, and I'm actually going to post a short pretty soon. And I'll show y'all how I did my lippy in that short, but y'all get to see a sneak peek, those of you that are here live with me today. Hello for all of those that are just joining. Stacy says the Prada highlighter is her favorite. Don't tap me, girl. Shannon on here is also a big fan of that Prada one. So this shade Desire, even though it is more red leaning, I'm gonna go in with the magenta lipstick. It's gonna pretty much cover up the red lip liner. The lip liner is mostly just to keep it from feathering and to make it defined. I just overline my Cupid's bow, and then I follow my vermilion border everywhere else. And I do the same on my bottom lip. Just overline just the center and stay within the vermilion border on the rest of the lip. The only time I would recommend not doing that is if you have kind of like a little bit of like a lopsided lip. Like sometimes some people's lip is fuller on one side than on the other. So if you want to kind of even them out and you want to give the illusion that they're more symmetrical, then you can kind of like play around with it. But other than that, I think it just looks less natural to overline on like the entire lip. I've made that mistake before and then looked in photos and been horrified. It's mostly when you like start to smile and like talk that you kind of see that that's. But you see, like where I put that powder contour is kind of giving just like a very subtle shadow, but it gives kind of like the illusion that I have like a lip flip. Even though I'm very overdue for Botox right now, I plan on getting it at the end of the month. Okay. This is the beautiful, beloved Dior 784. And I just look at the texture on the bullet too. It's just such a joy to use. I love the way it smells too. It has like it's a very slight scent, but there's a scent. It's a more pleasant scent than the Westman Atelier lipstick scents tend to be. These have a scent to them, but if you can stand this scent, you can probably stand this scent. These Westman Atelier ones smell like I don't know. It's a very distinct scent from each other. This one mostly smells like I don't know if it's like clay or like crayons, but the Dior one is more like a luxe like perfume type of scent. But not strong. Like it definitely doesn't linger. So I don't want to like throw you off. But there is a scent. So I just wanted to mention that. This formula is so good. I personally like to keep my lip matte if I'm going in with a very strong lip, like red or magenta, like I am today. Just because I think glossy plus bright is just a little too much. Too much going on. It is a beautiful formula, isn't it? And it really stayed put like all day long. I put it to the test, I'm telling y'all. So then you go, if you really want it to stay put all day, like just go back in one more time with your lip liner to just really make sure it doesn't feather out. You also don't have to do such a like opaque lip like I am. Like you can certainly just do like a more like blotted, like just ate a popsicle type of look and then maybe throw like a gloss on top. That would look super cute too if this isn't your vibe. So just kind of experiment with what makes you feel comfortable and powerful, because that's really the whole point of makeup, is whatever makes you feel strong and powerful and your most confident version of yourself is the whole point, right? Gorgeous, says Susan. Thank you. That lip color is so beautiful on you, says Stacy. Thank you. Yeah, if y'all have a skin tone like similar to myself, it's gonna look beautiful on you too. Even if you're darker than me or lighter than me, I still think it'll work. I love that wing, says Shannon. Thank you. And it was so easy to achieve too. So yeah, I just showcased it with this pointy Kolinsky brush, how easy it is to just kind of flick out a wing. And then it's really great to do like an inner corner too. And then I'll just like slap on some, oh, I always also love doing a little bit of my highlighter on the inner corner of my eye. So I'll just, because I have these Kolinsky brushes in front of me, I'll take this like medium one and do a little inner corner highlight. I just think that this kind of opens up the eye, especially when I'm not doing an eyeshadow look, but even when I am doing an eyeshadow look. It's just, we tend to get dark and have some darkness right here on the inner corner of our eyes. So if we highlight it, it tends to just like attract the light right there. and make us look more awake and like bright-eyed, I find. And then I would just be rocking my Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions mascara. I didn't risk using any other type of mascara because, again, like I wasn't looking in the mirror like a lot throughout the day, and I just know that I can rely on this mascara and that it's not going anywhere. It won't budge since it is a tubing formula. So I really like this, and y'all know I use Lashify on my top eyelashes, and I ride or die for Lashify, so it saves me a lot of time during the day, in the morning, I mean, getting ready, because I don't have to bother with top eyelashes. And I've been rocking these all week, and I typically redo them right before I go live here on Sundays, but I just haven't had time today. And they're holding on pretty well too, so I think I might just leave them and see if they can go another week. So I have a ton of videos on Lashify and how I do these at home DIY eyelashes. They're just little clusters that I stick on underneath my real eyelashes. And yeah, that's really just kind of been my look, minus the wing liner for court this whole week, y'all. Pretty simple. And without me yapping, like, this was super quick. It did not take me a long time at all. Using the Kolinsky face brush versus goat or any other hair, do you think Kolinsky gives more payoff and diffused result? No, like I definitely only recommend like Kolinsky to those who are interested in collecting Kolinsky, because it's like a more, it's a pricier hair type, but it's not like it's going to work any more magic than like your standard reliable goat hairbrush will. So I just recommend Kolinsky if you're like into collecting Fude and you kind of want to experiment with different types of brushes in your collection. I love Kolinsky because of all the different uses. Like you could use it for so many things, and it's like a little bit more resilient than goat hair. It's it's easier to clean. So like with these Gokujo brushes that I had said I wanted to use, and then I just realized that I didn't even use them for y'all. Maybe next live we'll get into these. But like with these Gokujo brushes, like, or any type of like white hair, goat hair, like you're just gonna, some people are bothered by like looking at their brushes and seeing like, you know, them stained. So unless you're like going in with like like this daily brush cleaner by Sephora, I really recommend to just kind of wipe down your brushes in between uses. But that is something about Kolinsky that I really like, is that like it's so much easier to kind of like just travel with, because like you can wipe them on a microfiber cloth and then use them for different things. Like I said, they tend to be a lot more resilient. They can be used with all different types of formulas. But do these bristles perform better than goat hair? No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say so. That's why I also like these persimmon dyed goat hair bristles, because it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like you get the practicality of the goat hair, but like you don't see the staining on them as much, because you're just seeing that beautiful orange persimmon dye on them, and they're very soft too. So very good quality brush hairs that Fude Bobo provides us with. And the shape is very unique as well. So I hope they answered your question. That's just my opinion. Okay, go for it, girl. Yeah, I'll have everything that I used linked. So if you're interested in shopping any of the products that I used today, please go ahead and use my link. I would really appreciate it. Let me know if you want me to send you any links in particular. I'm always happy to. And then finally, I always promise you all that I'm going to show you my outfit and my perfume that I'm going to be wearing at the end of every live. how gorgeous is this perfume? You might still be able to grab, these are limited edition hand painted bottles in Chantecaille's regular line of perfumes. This is Tiara or Tiare, however you say it, but look at how beautiful. You even have that hand painted design carried over to the sides, and I just die for these hand painted designs that and they don't cost any more than the regular cost of these perfumes. So I mean, it's almost like I don't even want to use them because they're so beautiful. Like, what am I going to do when I finish them? I'm not going to be able to like throw the bottle away, right? How gorgeous. Oh, okay. So I was tempted to show y'all that I'm very grateful to have received these fragrances in PR this week. So this brand I'm actually not even familiar with. So y'all have to tell me if you're familiar with this Noise brand, but they sent me 2 of their scents, Lost and Found and Love Club. So I'm very excited to test these out. I'll probably be testing these out this week. And I'll report back and let y'all know my thoughts. These are the notes. If anybody is interested, I'll just hold them up to the camera, so I won't waste your time reading all of them. But yeah, very excited to try those out. But for the sake of this video, and just because I am doing the same look that I've been doing the previous week, and I have been reaching for these newer Chantecaille perfumes to my collection, this just smells fresh and floral, and just love this scent. It's not too strong of a floral, because like I don't really love too strong of a floral scent. It's just like perfect. It's not too like granny-ish. I'm not the best at describing scents, but I blind bought the 3 bottles that were hand painted because of how beautiful they are. And the rest are behind me up there in that corner on display because they're just so beautiful. I'll turn the camera so y'all can see here on Instagram. But oh, Kat says, I love Love Club. Ooh, you love Love Club from Noise, but I wouldn't have placed that fragrance from them. Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Oh, thank you so much, Diesel Moda, for making it. I'm wrapping up now, but I will be posting the replay, so stay tuned for that. And then I'm just wearing this linen dress thing that I got from Nordstrom because, again, it's hot out, so this is just cool and conservative for Jesus. And I'm just pairing this dress with my Jenny Kane sandals. Very comfy. And that's it, y'all. If you can open the top, maybe the bottle can be used as a vase for a single flower from the garden. Oh my gosh, thank you for that tip. I love that idea. I'm going to try that. You're right. That is brilliant. Thank you for that. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for the compliments. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, I hope to see you all in my future lives on Sunday at 3 p.m. PST. Thank you so much for joining me and for all the love on my recent content and for sticking with me even throughout last week that I was relatively quiet on here. So I'm hoping to be back to my usual schedule. I do have another trial coming up pretty soon that I expect to be in. So if anything wonky happens, I'll let y'all know. But other than that, thank you so much, Stacy. Conservative for Jesus, love it. I know. I've talked about how tricky it is to like dress in the heat, but also try to be conservative. So I wear a lot of linen lately. Had a blast. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.